Hello and welcome to episode 71 of the Post 20 podcast. My name is Evan. I am joined, as always, by my faithful co host, Matt. What's going on this week, pal?
Well, first full week of the Prem being back after that international break, a lot of high-scoring games. Both of our teams took fat L's.
Mm.
Debatable which one could have been worse, but other than that, we also had the Champions League. Turned out better for Chelsea yesterday. That 2-0 Porto win was huge going into the second leg. And then I know United's playing right now. Is Arsenal or are they tomorrow?
Yeah, no, Arsenal playing Slavia Prague right now. The score was 0-0 when I looked away. It's now the 76th minute, still 0-0. Lacazette was through on goal with only the keeper to beat, and he fucking chipped it and hit the upper 90. So that's really been like the standout chance besides one that Saka had early, but they look
Mhm.
pretty flat.
Yeah, and then other than that, we have the Masters that started today, the first round.
Yes.
Great to see
Mm.
the Super Bowl of golf. It's something that you dream of going to as a sports fan.
Yeah. Which you were at. You got to
Yeah,
go.
we went to a practice round,
Oh,
which
it's
is still
practice.
it's still you're at the grounds and you could see the whole thing. I was too young to really take it in though. It didn't hit the same what's the word? It wasn't at the same regards that
Yeah.
if I went today it would be like different.
Yeah, that's hallowed ground. I mean, it's a very magical place.
Mhm.
I can't even imagine. I can't imagine what it would feel like. Plus like Masters merch, dude, is the absolute fucking best. Um, there's shit that you can only get when you are admitted to
Augusta.
Augusta, like a buddy of mine got sick. I mean, it is a beautiful golf polo. Peter Miller, which is like super expensive shit. Super expensive
Mhm.
golf shit. I have a couple pieces, but um just cool stuff. I mean, I hope someday I get to go. Even if it's for a practice round. Sometimes that's even more fun to watch. So, yeah. We can get into the Prem now. A lot of kind of unfortunate results for match day 30. First one being Chelsea and West Brom. What an absolutely shocking game that was. Christian Pulisic struck first in the 27th minute before, collapse, right? With the red card in the 29th. The minute Thiago Silva was sent off, things changed for Chelsea. They were only ever really able to kind of get themselves going in like a 10-minute stretch in the second half after the red card, and that was just really Mason Mount, coming on and being um, being lively. But other than that, West Brom kind of dominated the entire game. Two for Mateus Pereira, two for Callum Robinson, and Dianya had one in the 68th. But this was shocking. It was just a full underperformance from Chelsea and an overperformance by West Brom. I don't think this necessarily means anything about either team, especially West Brom. But I'll be curious to see what you have to say about it.
Yeah, your first point is exactly how I felt. As soon as Thiago Silva got that second yellow and was sent off, Tuchel wasn't prepared for the team to make that switch, and I don't think they trained for a situation like that. I think that's the first red card we've had under him,
Yeah,
and it showed that we didn't train for it. And it was Thiago Silva's first start since being back from a long-term injury, and we switched to a flat four with Christensen coming off the bench and Zuma probably our bottom two center backs at this current stage. Just not working well together back there, and then Alonso getting pulled in as a fullback at left. He's just not a left back. He needs to be higher up as a wing back. He struggles on defense, kind of how we were talking about last week with Trent being left out of the England squad due to maybe his defensive priorities.
right.
But yeah, Mason Mount going forward was nice to see. I mean, I would say he's been our player of the year so far
Easily.
with what he's contributed, and it's also is a boost because he comes from the academy and he bleeds blue through and through. Pulisic scoring was nice to see. He got a start. He doesn't start very much with Tuchel, but sad to see at halftime he came off. Ran on. There were images of him running on at halftime and then saying, like my hamstring a little bit. But
Hmm.
a few days later, I heard that he was going to be subbed 15 minutes anyway into the second half. So that might have been why he didn't even want to play the second half. He felt
Yeah.
like it was ridiculous, but I don't know. That's his personal decision. And then, yeah, I was just looking at these stats, and it says that this is the first time Chelsea have conceded 5+ goals at home in a Prem game since 2011 to Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
And we've given up 8 goals this year to West Brom, which is the most amongst any team we played thus far this campaign, which is a terrible stat in itself.
That's a bizarre stat.
I don't know. But yeah, Big Sam took advantage of it. He looked like he was having the time of his life. This was 3 points he definitely did not see them getting. Pereira's been their best player. He had two, like you said, he had 2 goals. He also had 2 assists. But their first 2 goals it was so ridiculously easy for them. It was a long ball from the goalkeeper over the top, and I think it was just, what was it? Robinson just chipped it over, or Pereira chipped it over Mendy, just like that. And that's the Route 1 football that you can't allow as a club at Chelsea. Like, that's West Brom's bread and butter. And if you let them get away with that, then they'll run all over you, and they did. So, uh, ending it off, my point just, yeah, like you said, this match didn't represent the two teams at all of what they've done so far this season. Like I said at the beginning of the show, Chelsea bounced back against Porto midweek, and we'll see what West Brom does this upcoming week when they play Southampton, who are coming off a nice win too. We'll touch on, but yeah, interesting to see. Just something very out of the ordinary.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. Though it was kind of a goal scoring fest. Just a shit result. Moving on, Leeds 2, Sheffield United 1. Same scoreline as their last one, 2-1. It just seems to be the way that these guys rock and roll. Typically, they strike first, concede, and then get one back before the game ends. This one was an own goal from Jags, who is 90 years old.
Hmm.
Good result. I mean, you have to beat Sheffield. We said we didn't think that Sheffield would give Leeds any sort of problems. They did give them a little bit of resistance. 9 shots for Sheffield, which is way more than they usually manage. That may be more of a knock on Leeds' defensive capabilities more than Sheffield's offensive capabilities. But, a good result for Leeds. I think it's when you're at their position right now, where they are on the table, you just kind of have to take these and move on. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't the best. I think they're capable of much more, especially against this Sheffield side, who are just, as I always say, so static. But I think they'll be happy taking it and moving on.
Breaking news: Arsenal just took a 1-0 lead.
Oh, let's go! Who was it?
It was Pepe,
Oh my God, really?
86-minute Pepe
Let's
goal.
fucking go, Peep. Let's
That's it.
go.
Is it at Emirates?
I think it is home.
Yeah, it is. All right.
Yeah.
As long as you hold them to nothing, then you're looking good because you don't want to give an away goal.
Yeah. Oh my
But
God, let's go.
yeah, that's great news. Hopefully they hold it out.
Yeah, hopefully.
Uh, yeah, but Sheffield is like they're just playing every game out the rest of the season. They just want to get it over with. Hickenbottom can't really do much. He's coming at a point where the damage is done, and you can't really fix what the players have left in their pride and self confidence. But maybe they play some young players later on in these games just to give them some experience what it's like to be in the Prem.
Mhm.
Yeah, like you said, Jags with the own goal, sad to see, but that's what happens when Leeds' speed gets in behind. You can't really do much. And now Leeds in their last 3 got 7 points out of 9, which is huge. They're equal with Arsenal on points. Just dealing with that goal differential, which has been their main problem all season. 47 goals for, but giving up 48, which is one of the worst. Um, Interesting to see how they do this upcoming week with their defensive issues. We'll touch on that later, but yeah, I don't really have anything else to say other than that.
Cool. All right, moving on, we have Leicester 0, Man City 2. So we both went with City in this one, I think, right? We both go with City?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we both trusted our gut and went with City here. They did prove to be the much stronger side. Benjamin Mendy was actually the first one on the score sheet. It didn't come until the second half in the 58th minute. Jesus added one in the 74th to pretty much stave off all of Leicester City's hopes of getting a point back. Dominated, I would say, Leicester were, which is not a word that I use often to describe the way a game went for them. But I did feel that City just had their feet on Leicester's necks the entire game. There is just more quality in every single position in this City team than there is in any other team in the league. And Leicester do a lot with, I don't want to say a little because, some teams really do have a little, but Leicester get really good results based on the team chemistry and composition that they have. And
Yeah.
I think they play team football extremely well, but they're also quite dynamic in an individual sense, especially with their attackers. But City, it doesn't matter when you're going up against City. It doesn't matter how good you are. They have more of anything you have, no matter what team you are, and they executed that or exhibited that rather in this match. 57 to Leicester's 43% possession, and they doubled their shots and doubled their shots on target. Clinical finishing really for City. Nothing out of the ordinary. That's just that's how I kind of think of them these days.
Yeah, like you said earlier with saying they have very little, I think that's fair to say with where they're challenging. They're holding third place down pretty strong with a 4 point difference between fourth place West Ham. Um, yeah, Brendan Rodgers is doing a great job there, but once you come up besides like Pep and at Man City, it's tough. De Bruyne had another great game playing through balls out of nowhere, and when you have pace like Jesus off the bench and Sterling and Foden and Mars and those guys being all creative on the wings, it's pretty much impossible for you to stop the bleeding. That's all you can really do. Like even holding them to a 0-0 draw would be a win in my opinion, but yeah, I don't know. It was nice to see Aguero getting a start. He'll probably get a couple more before the end of the season because this is his final year with the
Yeah.
club. Um, what was that? They won in their Champions League leg 2-1 over Dortmund. I thought it was funny. I saw an article after saying that one of the referees afterwards went up to Holland to get his autograph, which is something I've never seen before.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either. It's conflict of interest.
That just shows the amount of hype around the man. And his counterpart, I would say currently Mbappe, also bagged 2 goals against Bayern, which was a crazy result as well. So interesting to see if those guys make moves into the Prems next season. That'd be great to talk about for the next year.
Mm-hmm.
But back to this game, yeah, City pretty much locking up the lead, 14 points clear at the top. Not very much that United can really do. That's their main competition after stomping third place Leicester out. But yeah, it's always great to watch City play, and it's tough with Leicester because they obviously had a couple guys out here with Madison and Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, I agree. We'll move on. Because that's what City do every week. Just move on to the next opponent and fucking demolish
Yeah.
it. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 3. Unfortunate result here for my boys, but a pretty good result. On the other hand, for Liverpool, Diego Jota was the difference. He was subbed on. Did he come on at half or come in like the 60th minute? It was like around there, wasn't it?
Yeah, he came on the 60th and immediately made an impact.
Yeah, so he came on in the 60th, scored in the 64th, and then added another in the 82nd. Salah scored in between there in the 68th. Just a nightmare defensively for Arsenal in this game. Once Jota came on and they threw everything forward, there was just no way that Arsenal were ever going to get back into this. For a majority of the game, Liverpool pressed Arsenal, and we watched Arsenal give the ball away in some really unfortunate situations. I thought that although the midfield didn't necessarily play well in responding to the press, that Partey was a shining gem amongst the dirt. But I don't have a lot to say about Arsenal because they just didn't get much done on the offensive end. I mean, there was like 2 or 3 opportunities that they had. Pepe had a header. There was a couple others, but just like really flat everywhere. And Liverpool didn't necessarily play that well in the first half. They were kind of rusty and clanky. Just Jota is so good. I mean, he has so much precision, and it seems that he inspires everyone else on that side once he steps foot on the pitch. So, I think it was Diego Jota FC versus Arsenal, and Jota FC certainly outplayed them.
Yeah, him and Bruno Fernandes are great guys leading Portugal into the Euros this summer, most definitely. I'm looking here. Arsenal have only picked up one win from their last 12 Prem games against Liverpool. Four of those also being draws, so not very good in recent times going up against Liverpool for the Gunners.
Yeah, Arsenal just got scored on, dude.
Allison, I would say, came out with the hardest mustache I've seen in a long time in professional sports. Pretty clean mustache out there, killing the game. Um, what was I gonna say? Yeah, we watched this game live over the weekend. If you guys want to go to our YouTube channel, Post 20, uh, on YouTube to watch the live stream. If you want to rewatch the match with us, get our point of views. Evan, as soon as Jota scored that first goal, head was out of the game. He didn't want to watch it anymore. Oh no!
I told you,
Speaking
bro.
of
I told
which,
you. You didn't hear me?
no,
Dude, that guy's name
you're
is
muted.
Thomas Holes, bro. His name is Thomas Holes.
Slavia Prague just equalized in the 93rd minute from a man named Thomas Holes.
Oh yeah, you didn't hear me say that, huh?
Nah, you're muted,
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
I interrupted you because I was fucking so pissed.
Oh, that is sad. Now they have the upper hand going to the second leg.
Yep, dude, into whatever fucking farmer stadium they have in Prague.
Yeah, but that's exactly what it's like being an Arsenal fan. You never know what you're gonna get. Hopefully against Sheffield they can get a solid win, but this game it wasn't meant to be. Liverpool needed a much needed win. I think that's 6 straight away games in the Prem they won. So I would say in recent times they have great away form, but when they have to play at home, it's really up in the air.
Yeah. I'm just every time I start to feel confident about Arsenal again, they seem to just fucking ruin it and fuck it up. So I really just am kind of wanting to go back to not expecting anything, but we'll see. As evidenced by what just happened. I mean, just, you get this shining moment, and then they just rip your heart out every single time. But we'll move on. Southampton 3, Burnley 2. This was a fucking absolute thriller.
Yeah.
Chris Wood penalty in the 12th put Burnley ahead. Vidra, that Matej Vidra guy, he's a silver on FIFA. I had his card at the beginning of the year, an inform card. Added another in the 28th before Stuart Armstrong, Danny Ings, and Nathan Redmond led a 2-goal comeback win. They scored 3 and took all 3 points from Burnley. I mean, this was fucking nuts. This was a home game for Southampton, so maybe that's, part of why they were able to get things together and come back. But Burnley were clinical in the first half. I mean, 7 total shots, 5 of those on target, and 2 went in the first half. But Southampton led an absolute barrage on the Burnley back line and goalkeeper. Nick Pope was tested quite a few times, 9 on target with 24 shots lobbed at the goal. I mean, they were offensively pretty good in this game. Sloppy but good.
Yeah, this is Southampton's first home Prem win since their first game this year against Liverpool, ending a 5-game league match run without a win at St. Mary's. Yeah, that penalty early on, Kyle Walker-Peters got caught sleeping a little bit, and Burnley took advantage of it. As soon as it went 2-0, I thought it was pretty much done and dusted, but Southampton, to their credit, didn't give up. Instantly replied in the 31st minute from Stuart Armstrong, and then Ings before halftime with another great individual moment and performance overall. When he's healthy, there's nothing that can stop him. He looks like a top player in the league going forward. And then Redmond sealed the game up with his winner in the 66th. We both said predictions last week that Southampton didn't have a chance to win this game. I think you went with a draw and I went with Burnley. So they told us to go fuck ourselves pretty much. Um, I don't really know. Southampton have been like hit or miss. Like we don't really know what to expect from
No,
them, and
yeah.
and the same thing goes with Burnley. So like they're both around that lower mid table area. I don't know. I wouldn't say they're both 100% safe from that relegation battle, but with Fulham's recent form, I'd say they're in Newcastle as well. I'd say they're pretty safe for now. So they need to get some sort of momentum going because they're out of all competitions. And wait, isn't Southampton still in the FA Cup?
Um, yeah, because they beat. Um, let me see. Let me see what their next.
Yeah, they play Leicester in the
Yeah,
semis next weekend.
they're gonna get pounded by Leicester's, I think.
Yeah, so they have something else to play for right now. That's probably what they're putting all their eggs into, I would say. And if they win that, they're either going to play Chelsea or City. So that should be interesting for them. Something to look forward to. But yeah, other than that, it was a great match to start off that day.
Yeah, I agree. Very entertaining to watch for sure. I like those 3-2 or 4-3 like thrillers. They're always entertaining to watch. So it was nice to get a couple of them actually this week. Next one, Man United 2, Brighton 1. This first half from Man United was the worst I've seen them play in months. They looked so discombobulated, so out of control, lifeless, just absolutely nothing going for them. But that second half, it was like I don't know what Ollie told them in the dressing room, but a light switch went off. They were much more lively in the second half. Seemed like they had a game plan, had one common goal, and they managed to come back after Danny Welbeck put one past fucking what's his name? It's Henderson, isn't it, in goal now?
Yeah, there's talks that
That he's
United might
leaving.
buy out the rest of his contract and let him leave.
Okay. Sure. So after Welbeck managed to get one past Henderson in the 13th, United were just like down bad for the rest of the half. But like I said, at half, something really switched for them, and they managed to come back. Just offensively, they dominated Brighton mostly in the second 45, but uh, some pretty good grit, I think, shown by United here. Brighton aren't an easy team to come back and beat, I don't think. So it was good to see that out of United. It's what you want to see out of your, a top four club.
Yeah. To counter that, what you just said, I just saw here looking score, and it says United have won the most points this season in the Prem from losing positions,
Come back, yeah.
and and Brighton, on the opposite end, have dropped the most points from winning positions.
Oh, I was wrong
Yeah,
about
they've
that.
lost they've lost 20 points from winning positions, and United have won 25 from losing positions.
Hmm.
So complete opposites there. But yeah, I mean, that makes sense for United growing up. They're always the 90th minute cheese team.
Yeah,
Greenwood, I think, getting his second goal of the entire season. Very rare for him. I mean, the beginning of the year, we thought he was going to be like an out and out starter, but
yeah,
obviously not. I guess rotation and maybe a lack of faith from Ollie. But yeah, Welbeck early on scoring. And like you said, United came out slow. And Brighton's a team you don't want to come out slow against because they have a great system under Potter where they can work the ball around. They play with three in the back and those wing backs at times. Still no Lamptey. He's probably out the rest of the season. He adds a whole new element to that attack, but they made do with what they had. Welbeck scoring against his old club was interesting to see. Cavani, on the other hand, the opposite striker, there's talks of him leaving this summer, maybe going to play in Argentina for Boca Juniors. I wouldn't blame him after his whole deal with the FA a couple weeks ago or months
yeah,
ago with the whole social media thing. I mean, on the FA's part, that was them being uncultured and insensitive because they don't understand the different cultures and what he meant. And they just instantly went to what they thought it meant, which is dumb in itself. But besides the point, United locking up that second position after Leicester lose. So they're in a pretty safe space, 9 points safe in the top four. Also, they're in the Europa League today. They finished up 2-0 win over Granada, same as Chelsea yesterday. So they're looking pretty good going in their second leg next week. But all in all, pretty normal routine for United there.
Yeah. I think that's a really nice 3 points for them. Greenwood looked pretty good in that second half. Moving on, Everton 1, Crystal Palace 1. Everton are forever frauds. James Rodriguez got one in the 56th, only for Michy Batshuayi. Chelsea outcast, Dortmund outcast in general to get one back in the 86th. Palace kept it close with Everton this entire game. 6 shots on target to Everton's 7. Actually got the upper hand in possession and had just about as many shots on target. And like I say, every week it comes down to the kind of it's Allen. That's actually what it is. I have 100% figured out that it's Allen. If you don't have Allen and James in the midfield, the Everton are not going to give you everything they can give you. Of course, I do want to make note that Calvert-Lewin has entirely forgot how to score. It seems.
Yeah.
That's a really big problem for Everton. You saw them score so many goals at the beginning of this season. In that September period, I mean, it looked like they could win the league. They were unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And Calvert-Lewin just kept adding to his goals tally, but he seemed to completely evaporate. Tom Davies in the midfield just giving you average performances. And then I think even missing Pickford is kind of a thing for them.
Yeah.
I actually really think that's a big chemistry sort of thing. He's been the keeper there for a long time now, and I think when you're missing your keeper, it just really fucks with the chemistry. And I think that's part of why Palace were able to keep that door open and managed to get themselves a point here. Pretty good Palace side put out though. You had Zaha, Benteke, Eze obviously on the left, and I think Ayu's actually pretty solid on the right. Their defense is okay too, so I think this was a pretty good result for Palace, but I think Everton were probably disappointed.
Yeah, Crystal Palace have just suffered 1 loss in their last 6 in the league, and Everton on the opposite have only won 1 in their last 8 home games. So not well at home for Ancelotti and the boys. And like you said, Allen not in there is a huge loss. I felt like early on in the year it was like a mirage cast on over everybody's eyes
Yeah.
with how well they were doing and DCL popping up. I still think he's a solid player, but I don't think he's that guy that can average 20 to 25 goals a year, like a Harry Kane or like a Aguero in form. But yeah, I mean, Palace literally don't have anything to play for the past 3 weeks. We've said they're gonna float in that mid-table area. Same with Leeds. They just go out there, do their thing, They just play as spoilers for whoever they're playing, whether it's somebody pushing for European football or whether it's somebody scratching and clawing to stay in the league.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Zaha and Batshuayi and Eze and those guys are dangerous going forward when they have nothing to lose. So interesting to see moving forward what happens with them. Everton still are 2 points behind Liverpool in the league. They still do have a game in hand, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. But in their last 3 matches, they've only gotten 1 point, so they really need to turn the tide if they want to move up the table.
Yeah, I agree. We'll have to see what the rest of the couple. We only have a couple weeks left here now, so we'll have to see what's in store for them. Next game, one of my favorite of the week. West Ham 3, Wolves 2. A first half barrage of goals by Jesse Lingard, Pablo Fornals, and Jared Bowen had the Hammers up by 3 by the time Dendonker scored in the 44th right before the halftime. Fabio Silva got one back for Wolves in the 68th, but it ultimately wasn't enough. Wolves bouncing back kind of in this game. I felt like they were really lively. Not really anything that we've seen from them thus far since Jimenez went out, has led me to feel like they're a dynamic team. But they looked better here. 20 shots on target, or 20 shots, 5 on target, dominated possession, really dominated West Ham, but defensively they were poor. Lingard's been an amazing addition to this West Ham side, and I feel like ultimately he's kind of the player that has led them to a lot of these points in the second half of the season. I think a lot of other people feel the same way, but like, what do you think about Jesse Lingard? Because Man United should be recalling him like ASAP.
I would say he should stay with them permanently because I don't ever see him breaking into that United lineup because where he plays now for West Ham is where
Bruno,
Bruno is,
yeah,
and that's his preferred role. And he just wouldn't fit into that side, even if he was wedged on that right mid spot, which is where they need
yeah,
guys going forward. That he wouldn't perform at his best. So, and he's at the point in his career where he's 28, 29 years old. He's at the prime, you would say, of his career. And clearly, this is his best year ever. The way he
easily.
plays, even if like his stats aren't the best, which they are, but he's having a phenomenal year. It'd be crazy to think what they would look like if he was there from the start because he joined in January,
Yeah.
and yeah, like you said, they've earned so many points because of him
Mm-hmm.
and how he plays, and they're sitting fourth right now, to 1 point clear of Chelsea.
Yeah.
I could definitely see them holding one of those top four spots by the end of the year with how they're playing.
I absolutely can. And when I say that United should be looking to recall him, I think I mean that so that they can sell him, because I think that there are going to be clubs that will pay more than West Ham will. We know what kind of player they buy, and Jesse Lingard is an Englishman in his prime. Depending on how he performs at the Euro, I think he could fetch a hefty price that I'm not sure West Ham will want to buy unless there's some sort of discount built into the loan contract, which we know does happen. So that's what I meant by that. But yeah, I
Right.
mean Lingard just unbelievable. Every week he continues his form, and it's very very impressive.
Yeah, but back to that game. I mean, this is just similar to the Southampton Burnley game. Very open going forward. A lot of creativity on both sides. Um, Injuries though to Rice and Antonio, so those guys might be out a few matches. I think Rice a little longer than Antonio. He might have a slight hammy issue, but the Wolves side, William Jesus or Jose, sorry, the guy they brought in on loan up top for them, he's done absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They brought him in because he's a similar stature to what Jimenez resembled, and he just doesn't get the job done. A lot of their offense comes from their midfield with Neto, Neves, and Moutinho mainly, and their back line's been like iffy. Nuno's kind of rotated from a flat four to a back three. A back three is what they prefer to play. Um, Semedo hasn't had his best year really there, coming in his first season from Barcelona. And then they rotate a lot of guys at left back. They don't really have a lockdown guy there, whether it's due to injuries or lack of faith from the manager. But yeah, it's a good thing that West Ham got those three early goals because if it was only two, I think Wolves could have definitely taken this game. But it turned out the way it did, and West Ham hold that top four spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm interested to see if they can retain that top four spot. I think they will. West Ham in the Champions League going to be absolutely hilarious.
Hmm.
Okay, we'll preview some of the games for next week quickly.
You missed two games.
What games?
Newcastle, Spurs, and Aston Villa, Fulham.
Oh, they're not on my thing.
Hmm.
Oh, all right. Oh, they're in a different spot. That's so
Yeah.
strange. Sorry, guys. Newcastle 2, Tottenham 2. These games were on Sunday, both of these. Sorry, my Google thing's all fucked up.
I was gonna say, I thought you'd want to talk about
I
Spurs
do.
flopping.
I do want to talk about Spurs flopping. Joelinton was the one to strike first in this game, and immediately I was like, "Oh, dude, Spurs down bad again." And then Harry Kane got one back in the 30th, and then he scored again in the 34th. And I was reminded that Harry Kane is literally probably the best striker in the world. And at any moment, he can just do that and score at will. Um, but in the 85th minute, Arsenal loanee Joe Willock managed to tie it up, and the two teams had no choice but to share the points. And I just find it funny that even like, I don't want to say from the grave because like he's not dead, but even from from fucking however many miles away, Arsenal are thwarting Tottenham's plans. And
Yeah.
I just thought it was hilarious. It was so funny when I watched him score. Newcastle absolutely dominated Tottenham in terms of offensive statistics. Tottenham were a little sharper in the midfield, but really, I think this speaks to Tottenham's inability to hold a lead. And the pundits and the papers were talking about, Jose and how his thing is really holding the lead, parking the bus and hunkering down and making sure that he manages to get all 3 points from a precarious position. And he has become so poor at that with this Tottenham side, and he blamed it on the players. And I think that I don't know if it's the players. I mean, I know we've talked about how their defense isn't fantastic, but there is a club identity issue at Tottenham that I don't think can be solved under the reins of Jose Mourinho. They need somebody else. They needed to not get rid of Poch, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's living it up in Paris right now. They're killing the
Yeah.
game. But Tottenham have failed to win 6 games this season, which they led at halftime the most of any side in the Prem, which is, like you said, an identity crisis or maybe a lack of focus. Just something there. On the Newcastle side of things, this is huge for them.
Yeah.
A point a point against Tottenham's huge in the bigger picture. Keeps a 3 point gap between them and Fulham. They also have a game in hand on Fulham, so they can really separate things if they wanted. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's always going to be close until the end. Um, I don't know. Spurs also as well can't pull away in the league. They're sitting right in between Chelsea and Liverpool in that sixth spot, right in that Europa League position. Probably where they will finish, unless Leicester or West Ham flop, because I don't think Chelsea's going to fall off.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's great to see these teams pulling off big upsets like they are. So
Okay. This next game was one of the only games that I actually didn't watch. Aston Villa 3, Fulham 1. So Fulham are kind of adopted favorite team here. Not in great form the past few weeks. While they were able to get a couple shots on target and behave in an offensively decent manner, ultimately it wasn't enough to get enough goals to beat this Villa side who were feeling particularly like scoring goals on this day. Trezeguet, who I haven't seen on the score sheet much this season, managed to get himself 2, and Ollie Watkins got one for himself in the 87th. Mitrovic, he was the only one that scored for Fulham. Not really a player. That's another player that you don't see on the score sheet a ton. They were, playing through Maja and what's his name? Maja and Lookman for most of the time, and they were the ones that were kind of providing all the assistant goals for a couple weeks. But Mitrovic getting himself one here. Um, I don't know. I don't know what to say because I didn't watch this one, but it looks like everything was in the second half. All the goals. That's kind of wild.
yeah, I watched most of this game, and Fulham were controlling this game for the most part. And the thing was, in the post game interview, they asked Scott Parker, the manager, that if it was due to game management. He totally agreed with that. I don't think their team has yet coped with managing games all the way through.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened here. The last 15 minutes, they collapsed, whether that was due to tired legs or a lack of focus through the back line and the midfield, and that leaving bigger pockets of space for the midfield to come collect the ball and turn. Just those little things affect the bigger picture and the results of games, which is something that Fulham can't afford sitting in the relegation zone. And like I said earlier, Brighton have given up the most points from winning positions. Fulham are third in that category. They've given up 16 from winning positions. So um, interesting to see what they do going forward. Not a lot of faith betting on Fulham at the time right now because they just give up the game, even if they take the lead. Um, should be interesting what Scott decides to work on going forward, but They desperately need a win, especially after Newcastle getting a big morale boost against Spurs. And like I said earlier, they have a game in hand and 3 points on Fulham. So they just like I was saying with what was it, Everton needing points and getting up the table, Fulham even more need these points now.
Yeah, that is the truth. Okay, now we'll move on to our predictions. Sorry about missing those again. Match day 31. Games start tomorrow on Friday. First one being Fulham versus Wolves. This is a tough one. Um, this is hard because I think Wolves looked a little better last week, and I think Fulham looked a little worse than they have in recent weeks.
Yeah.
So I think that's leading me to Wolves. I hate betting against Fulham, but I think I'm just gonna think like straightforward, follow my gut and say Wolves in this one.
Both teams are in terrible form.
Yeah,
Wolves haven't gotten a win in their last five. Fulham only one win in their last five. For
yeah,
those, the other four being losses. It's at Craven Cottage, meaning Fulham have the worst home record this season,
yeah,
sitting dead last, 2 wins out of 16. Wolves away form, they're 15th, so both sides don't do too well on the road or home.
yep,
I'd like to think that Fulham will break this streak of bad play, but I think tactically these two teams match up pretty well. I would like to think that Wolves come out in their standard 3-4-3. Traore's looked better as of recently going forward. He breaks away a lot more. He must have been putting some extra baby oil on his arms
yeah,
to get loose, but that's crazy. He's like the only player that does that. But
yep.
my instant thought was a draw, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the draw.
Okay, sounds good to me. I think I can see that too. Next one, very straightforward for me. Man City versus Leeds. I think there was a Man City versus Leeds matchup that ended 1-1 earlier this season. I remember it because the end was an absolute fucking like just
It was against Leeds.
yeah, it was City versus Leeds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
hmm
that's what I mean. It was a goal. It was a shot fest, dude. It was from end to end. No play in the midfield. The ball was just bouncing from end to end. It was absolutely electric. They shared the points that time, but I think City have sharpened up since then, and I think Leeds have certainly dulled down in an attacking sense. So I'm gonna take City. City for this one.
Yeah. In that match, Leeds won the possession battle, getting 52%.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, but yeah. I mean, you see this and you think Man City easy, but I think this could also be a very open match. After watching Dortmund play City earlier this week, you saw Holland and his size taking full advantage of it, and he made Ruben Diaz look like a twig. He just put him on
Yeah.
his ass real quick. So if Patrick Bamford can do anything like that to resemble Holland, I think Leeds can easily be in this game. But Rafinha's done exceptionally well as well on the right, so I think he can match up well with Cancelo coming in on the inside. But I have to play it safe and go with City here, but I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up in a high scoring draw.
Yeah. I mean I could see that happening too. Are you gonna go? You think you're gonna go with City though?
I'm going to go with City, but I
Okay.
wouldn't be surprised if I was betting on this game. I would bet a Leeds win or draw.
Well, I would take the fucking over. I think this could certainly be like over 2.5. I could definitely
Yeah,
see that happening.
that sounds safer.
All right, moving on, a rematch from a 7-2 thriller earlier this season in which Aston Villa defeated Liverpool. I don't know where to go in this one either. This was kind of where Liverpool's like disaster of a season started. I think
Yeah.
was losing 7-2 against Villa and then losing obviously some guys defensively. But I think Liverpool have been better, and I think that they're going to be riding momentum from defeating Arsenal in the league last week. Villa just kind of holding on in their no, actually. That was the 3-1 win versus Fulham, right? The last game.
Mhm.
Um So disregard what I just said about Villa. But I'm confident in Liverpool. I think that as long as Jota gets some play time, whether he starts or comes in, that they'll be able to conjure up enough magic to beat this Villa side.
Let me think. I'd like to say Liverpool right away, but their home record's absolutely atrocious.
It is atrocious, yeah.
And coming up against Aston Villa here, they might have PTSD.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Grealish is going to be ready for this game yet. I don't know, but I think Liverpool's going to dominate the possession. They're going to play how they normally do. It's going to be hard to get those whipped crosses in at the right spots with the height of Konza and Mings.
Yeah.
But when you have Diego Jota, anything's possible. So I'm gonna go with a Liverpool win here. I'm gonna take a chance there. I think they win and carry on that momentum they got from Arsenal.
Agree. Moving on, Crystal Palace versus Chelsea. This is another straightforward one for me. I don't think Chelsea collapses against Palace. Obviously, we saw that last week against West Brom. I don't think it happens again. I think Tuchel is a strong coach, and he kind of has like a strong backbone in that team. Different defensive pairing, obviously, this time because no Thiago Silva. But I just don't think Palace have all that it takes to break down that Chelsea defense, which has been pretty good recently. I'm getting a phone call. Give me 1 second. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Chelsea as well. It's hard to say with what's going on recently against West Brom, but okay. Yeah. And what was I gonna say? Yeah, the previous results saw Chelsea win 4-0 over Palace. Obviously that's under Frank. Thiago Silva being out's a little bit of a hit to the team, but they've done pretty well without him. They'll probably slide Rudiger back in there with Zuma and Christensen, or slide in Dave. Probably be Dave or Cesar, Rudiger, and Christensen or Zuma. One of the two of them will get rotated.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Chilwell scoring earlier in the week should be interesting to see if he gets another start, but I don't know if he's going to go with a rotated team here and play the starters against Porto again, or if he's going to do the reverse. I'd like to see Havertz get in this game, give him some confidence. At this point, Werner, I have no idea when he's going to score again. He literally miss sitters every game, and it's tough to see as a fan. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chelsea win here. Easy, nothing really to bet otherwise, unless they get another red card. Then I might live bet against them. But other than that, I think it's a Chelsea win.
Yeah. Okay, we're in agreement there. Then next one, Burnley versus Newcastle. This is a fucking weird one. I don't. This might be your coin flip game of the week.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
I'm on a draw. Actually, I think this is going to be like a 0-0 or a 1-1 draw.
Yep, I'm 1-1 on the coin flip. Crystal Palace messed me up with Everton there. I took Everton on the coin flip. The home team in this match is Burnley, playing at Turf Moor. So heads is Burnley, tails is Newcastle. I'm going to do this. If it's back-to-back, one of them, I'll go with the win. If it's a split, I'm going to go with a draw.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
All right, here we go. First flip is heads to Burnley. Second flip, heads to Burnley. We're going with Burnley here.
Okay. That's that's like my second pick. I think Burnley will win, but I just am not confident in their goal scoring. So I'm going to go with a tie. Next one, West Ham, Leicester. Ooh, this could be a good game. I think since I've been singing Jesse Lingard's praise so much that I'm actually going to go with West Ham here. I don't know what odds are going to look like. I think they'll probably be favorited. This could be a really, really interesting game. I don't think this will end in a draw. I can see either team winning, but for the sake of just, I don't know, riding with Jesse Lingard, I'm going to take West Ham.
Yeah, odds-wise right now, Leicester's the favorite.
Oh, Leicester, okay.
Plus 135, West Ham plus 210. They're dealing with some injury issues. Like I said, Antonio's probably going to be out as well as Declan Rice. So they're going to have to put some rotated guys in there, which might hurt their chances. But Leicester know all about that, dealing with injuries, and they've kind of coped with it. Ian Nacho's stepped up a little bit more. I don't know whether Madison will be back in this game or not, but if he is, that's a huge boost to them. But home and away records, both teams sit on in second place. Leicester second in away form, West Ham second in home form. Uh, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna go with West Ham kind of got away with the last week's win, and they didn't make it out too good with those injuries. Lingard's gonna definitely have a good game here, but I'm gonna take a chance here, and I think Leicester might steal the points.
Okay. All right. I can see that happening too. So interesting. Next one, Tottenham Man United. This was a crazy game earlier on this season as well. I think Tottenham blew United out of the water in this one, right?
Yeah, 6-1 Spurs.
Yeah. So I remember that. Well, I think the result is opposite this time. I'm on the United win. I think their second half comeback victory versus Brighton has them looking okay. They won today, I think, as well.
United.
Yeah, in their Europa League tie, right?
Yep, that one too. No.
Yeah, so it's a good result for them. I think that they have a lot of momentum heading into this game, whereas Tottenham are kind of struggling with that identity issue and the coaching issue that I talked about earlier. So I think that's going to be enough for United to just kind of squeak by. I don't know if it'll be a slaughter, but I do think they win.
Yeah, short and sweet. I'm gonna agree with you there. I think United pull out the dub.
Cool. Next one, Sheffield United, Arsenal. I'm not overthinking this one. Arsenal, they're going to beat Sheffield, okay? That's it. That's all I have to say. They beat them earlier this season. I think they do it again. Yep, that's it.
Yeah, our Sheffield. It's the game's at the end, or no, it's at what's what's our stadium called?
Blade Park. I don't know what the fuck it's called. Let me see. It is at Bramall Lane.
Bramall Lane. Yeah, yeah. They've gotten more points home than they have away, which I was gonna make the point if they were away, but yeah, they don't have anything to play for.
Right.
Arsenal, it's looking like in the league they don't really have much playing for. They might have to put everything in the Europa League. They're going to really need to now next week after today's result. But yeah, I'm going to go with an Arsenal win as well. They really just need to get some sort of positivity going into the second leg against Slavia Prague. So
Yeah.
Arsenal dub here.
Okay. Sounds good. I agree. Next one, West Brom versus Southampton. This could be another freak sort of game. I don't think West Brom are capable of doing what they did last week again, especially not in such close proximity to doing it the first time. I think Southampton actually managed to get the win here. Had some grit versus Burnley last week. That was nice to see, and I think that momentum carries them into 3 points versus West Brom. I'll be curious to see what you think here.
I can't bet on West Brom after they did to me earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Big Sam's made me look like a fool all season. So
True.
for my pride's sake, I can't say West Brom's going to win. Um, Southampton after last week's game makes me have a lot of confidence in them,
Mm-hmm.
especially with Danny Ings. I don't think West Brom's going to get lucky with another bullshit red card or double yellow
Right.
2 weeks in a row, because when they play 11v11, things aren't as open for them as they were last week,
Yeah.
which they took full advantage of. Gave them credit for that. But I think Southampton here, a nice little win. Ings and Ward-Prowse on the score sheet, keeping them in that mid-table and making West Brom's chances to stay up that much harder.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, cool. Last game of the week, Brighton versus Everton. Another one that I think could be weird. I have a really hard time betting on Everton. They don't score a ton of goals, and I just feel like they're flat most of the time. So I don't want to bet on Everton here. I think I'm gonna say draw.
Looking at the home and away forms, Brighton are 17th this season at home, only getting 13 points out of a possible 45, where Everton, on the complete opposite end, 14 matches away, have won 29 points, which is comparatively different to their home form, which they've only gotten 18 points from 15 games. So they're an away team. They cannot win at Goodison Park, but when they play away, they do get wins. I think that carries over here. They played earlier in the year. Everton got a 4-2 win. You had goals from all over the place with James, DCL, and Mina probably off a corner. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Everton win here. They need the points really bad.
Yeah. All right. Interesting enough. That concludes our preview and review of the upcoming match week. So with that, I think that's it. I don't think we have anything else to say. Besides, thank you for listening. Matt, I'll let you plug everything today.
Okay, yeah, guys, make sure you check out all of our streaming platforms at Post 20 on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts. On the Apple, leave a 5-star review, letting us know what we need to improve on or what you guys like so far. If you want to check us out on social media, at Post 20 Pod as well on Instagram and Twitter. So keep up with us daily with what's going on with the show and that. And if you guys are visual watchers, check out our YouTube app, our Post 20, spelled out 20, not 20. Subscribe to the channel. It's free. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you're notified when we post our new videos or videos of the stream or of the podcast, sorry, every Thursday or Friday. And then if you guys want to check out us live stream, we live stream over there, one Prem game a week. We try to keep it. We update you guys on Twitter with what's going on with what game we want to watch. So make sure you're following us on all those platforms if you want to keep up to date with us. Other than that, shout out to the Union, Philadelphia Union. Got a nice dub in the CONCACAF Champions League against, I think, one of the Costa Rican champions.
Yeah.
Ended in a pretty bad fashion with a fight almost breaking out. Guy came in 2-foot tackle, almost broke Kai Wagner's leg.
That shit was insane.
He made him do a full front flip 3 feet in the air, which was absolutely insane. I don't know how that guy didn't get sent off, but makes the second leg even interesting. Or even more interesting. I just fucking pulled my chair down mid speech.
You good?
All right, there we go.
Okay.
I was like monkey with my chair and I fucking hit the thing and I just fell.
Oh, all good.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you next week. Take care. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you then. Bye, guys.